Hi, it's Sam here again, talking about the Great British Sewing Bee Series 6, Episode 2, Holiday Week. So I'm Frugalissima on Instagram, and I have a blog over on WordPress, also Frugalissima, where I will link to my blog. It will be down below, and all the fabrics and patterns that I'm talking about will be on there. So this episode kicked off with palazzo pants, which are sort of a wide-legged pant that flares out from the hips. Sort of typical holiday wear. I think it was Coco Chanel that first thought of them. And we had quite an unusual construction, and I wasn't able to find the actual pattern that they used. I think that pattern was probably drafted for the programme. The new Sewing Bee book doesn't have any ladies' pants in there at all. It has the boiler suit, but there's no ladies' trousers in there at all. The construction on these was a little bit unusual in that there was a zip at the back, and that seemed to be sewn first, and then you had the side pockets, and instead of a waistband you had a facing around the waist, and the judges were looking for pattern matching. They kind of intimated that they wanted a large scale print and have pattern matching across and some sort of balance, so not a large, so that the print wouldn't have to necessarily be matched absolutely, but that there was some balance along the lines there. So you had quite a few going for the large scale florals. Alex went for a smaller sort of like I would have thought it was I think it was a Rifle Paper Company print, and one of the other men went for a leopard print. I don't know if that was Mark or that was Matt. He went for a leopard print. Claire went for Italian Riviera print. And then Liz had it looked like a chambray, but sort of jungle animals on it. Quite a few of them surprisingly went for contrast pockets, and after the judges had said that they wanted the pockets to be completely concealed, I thought it was quite a strange choice. So we had I think Mark went for a Liberty print. Any ones that I've found of anything similar I will put on the screen, but it was quite difficult this week because last week Minerva had sort of posted quite a lot of the fabrics that had been used, and there didn't seem to be quite so many this time, so I've had to sort of have a look myself and see what I could find. So I found a couple of palazzo pants patterns. One of the old Great British Sewing Bee books had some palazzo pants in. Let me just show you those ones. So I'll try and get the light not shining on it. There we go. Those are the ones. And this is the From Stitch to Style book. A couple of years ago, might have been the last one actually. I've not sewn those ones, but they don't have the side pockets, and they do have a waistband, but they do have I think they've got a back zip on there. And I found a free pattern that came from the fabric store. Now I haven't sewn those neither, and they don't have any pockets in them. I think they might have the facings. I'll put a thing on the screen for you so you can have a look. That's a free pattern, so if you fancy making some palazzo pants and don't have a pattern. And I've also had a little rummage through my stash to see what I had in the stash. And this McCall's pattern, M7415, these ones here, these are a kind of palazzo styling that they're fitted through the hip here. And quite wide at the bottom. I've made that one there, the straight-legged one. And those ones, and this new look one here. That's better. they're quite short, quite cropped those, and not quite so full in the hip, but they've got the pockets, and yeah, they've got like a cut-out pocket in them. They're not the concealed pocket. So I think if you lengthen those, they would go to a palazzo style pant. And then I found a simple sew pattern, and that is just called palazzo pants. Not a free pattern, unfortunately, but I think it's about £6 for the PDF, and they're quite similar in that they've got the side pockets, they've got a back zip, they do have a waistband, they don't have the facings, but they're very similar. Yeah, so the contestants all did really quite well with those. I think there were just one or two sort of problems. Fiona was the only one to choose a crepe fabric, and I think she had quite a few problems just dealing with it in the 3-hour time frame, really. And Alex had a problem with the bottom of his zip, I think. The only things that other people, that the judges pulled other people up with was not pattern matching, and yeah, I think most of them finished those, so they did a good job. So it must have been quite a tough call for the judges, but Ali won that round, so quite pleased to see Ali win something. So then we went on to the transformation challenge, which was 2 towels that you could make a beach cover up for, a woman's beach cover up for. We had all sorts of things there. Yeah, they were allowed to use, they got 90 minutes and they were allowed to only use 2 towels, and there were beach towels and there were hammam towels as well, which were much more lightweight, sort of cotton type towel. So yeah, you had a few weird and wonderful things there. What can I say about those? You had a couple of people who made sort of hoodies. I think Claire or one of the chaps made a hoodie, sort of, and with a zip up the front, which in that time frame to do a zip and what have you was quite something. Ali made a little rah-rah skirt and a top. Hazel made some sort of top with elasticated back and fringing on it, and a little skirt to go with it. Either Matt or Mark, do get them mixed up, I'm sorry, made a really small short skirt and had a bit of an issue with it fitting around the model, the tailor's dummy, so had to put a piece in it. Who else have we got? Claire did one of the hoodies. Therese did a really nice one, and I think she learnt from one of the past transformation in episode 1, and did quite a bit of draping and knotting and put a bit of bling on it. I quite liked Nicole's. She made a little play suit, so she made a pair of shorts with pom-poms on and then attached a bodice, which was strapless. So yeah, there was some quite imaginative things, really. I think if I were faced with a transformation challenge with towels, I'd still be sat there looking at them, wondering what on earth to do. So yeah, we went on to they call it the fit challenge, where contestants were to make a holiday shirt. And with that one, you had it was a man's holiday shirt. So the contestants have got 5 hours to do that, and I think the judges again were looking for pattern matching and just those extra details, so pockets or pleats or sort of contrasting facings, and obviously they wanted the collars to be turned through perfectly. So yeah, we had some interesting ones there. Claire went for inspired by a holiday in Peru. She went for a print with some llamas on. I managed to find her the llama fabric. I think that was a Michael Miller one. So Matt went for a large scale Lady McElroy print. Yeah, so we had Liz, who went for the Oriental fish, and I will put the patterns in that I think were perhaps used, but this time there were only 2 patterns that were shown on screen, and that was Fiona's, and that was her vintage Simplicity one, and she used vintage cars as a fabric, and contrast, I think it was contrast colour. And the judge just suggested that she should put some pockets on hers, and I don't think she'd practiced putting pockets on. And right at the end, all she had to do was sew her pockets on and some buttons. And I think it was just a bit unfair that suggested that, because she'd obviously not factored that into her timing, and sadly hers wasn't finished. Young Alex went for an extraordinary choice in a viscose jersey, and I think that was his downfall, really. It did say that he'd used that sort of fabric before, but sadly he just got it misaligned, and I think it just was too much for him to deal with. I don't think I'd want to be working with a viscose jersey under pressure. It's tricky, slippery stuff. Especially when you're doing button plackets and turning through collars and what have you, it's just not. It didn't go for the easy choice there, bless him. So we've got Ali went for sort of a large scale tropical print, and I did find that fabric because the fabric shop that she goes to is a local fabric shop, and I'd seen that fabric in my local fabric shop, and I've actually got some of that on order, and I might just give some away as a prize for people if you stick to the end, and I'll tell you what you need to do. So what else we've got? Excuse me while I have a look at my notes. So we've got Hazel using wax print again. Now I'm just going to show you some wax print I've got. Now I haven't got a great deal of experience with it. I've got 3 or 4 different ones, but I don't know if you can. This is just to appreciate just how stiff that is. You can kind of hear how crisp it is. I'm not so sure that I would particularly like that. She did a palazzo pants in it as well. I'm not so sure that I particularly like that as a shirt. It's not a soft material. It doesn't have a lot of flowingness in it. So, but I think she did a really nice job of the one that she did. It was quite a large scale print, and she did contrast collar, and her pockets had a bit of contrast in as well. So it looked nice. I don't know what it would have been like to wear. And Nicole did a homage to her father. I think she must have lost her father quite young. And what did she call it? A Jack's shirt? I've never heard of that. And both she said the fabric had come from Trinidad, where she is from originally. And she did pin tucks all down the front here and then across the top of her pocket. So she put 2 pockets on, and it looked really nice, but you could see during the programme that she was having real problems doing those pin tucks, but the work, and she finished it, I think. I'm fairly sure she finished it. There was nothing outstanding. So the work that went into that was amazing, really. So we've got, what else have I missed out? Therese. She did parrots. She got parrots, and the only criticism they had on hers was that she got a parrot going the wrong way on a collar. She didn't put any pockets on hers, and a couple of them didn't put pockets on. So I think, there were a couple of obvious ones that couldn't have won, because if they weren't finished, then obviously, and Liz didn't finish hers with the koi carp on. But yeah, it must have been quite difficult for the judges to choose, and I think they went for the ones that they choose to put details on. So, for example, Ali's was finished and it was perfectly done. but she didn't put any pockets on, so perhaps that's why she didn't get the garment of the week. So the garment of the week went to, now is it Mark or Matt? It was Mark, with his tropical, they call it a tropical holiday shirt, and that was the Lady McElroy fabric. And I think his was a Simplicity. Let me just have a look. A Simplicity pattern. I'll insert it in the editing, so you can have a look at the patterns. Again, I can't be sure of any of the patterns. Like I say, the one that Fiona used was shown, and I'm pretty sure that Ali used the same one as well. It was very, very similar. And then the only other one that I recognised there was a Colette Negroni. And who used that one? Was that Matt? Yeah, I think that was Matt's. Yeah, or was it Peter's? No, I think it was Matt's. And that had, he said he'd made it quite a few times before, and he did something different to the collar. He said it squared it off or something. And the finished product, I'm going to insert a picture of the Negroni in here. But when you see that and his finished product, it had really wide cuffs, sort of arms on it. So I don't know if he'd done something to the arms as well to give it that style. I mean, that's obviously his choice. But yeah, I wasn't too keen on that. So the only other one that I found, I've not got any men's shirts at all. I don't sew for my husband at all. So, and the only other one I found was in the Great British Sewing Bee Sew Your Own Wardrobe, and that's the one I found. Not really a holiday shirt. It just says it's a men's shirt. It's more of a bowling style shirt, really. But I think Alex's was very similar to that one. So whether he used that one and used this viscose jersey with it or not, I don't know. So my little challenge to myself this time, obviously, well, not obviously, but I'm not going to faff about with old towels. My dog gets the old towels in our house. He's permanently dirty, so we use the old towels for him. And I don't think my husband's going to appreciate a tropical shirt. Although my friend has asked me to make one like Matt's. Matt's with the Lady McElroy fabric, but that won't be this week. Yeah, so it's going to have to be palazzo pants. So I'm either going to use the Fabric Store one, because that's a free one, or the one that's in the Great British Sewing Bee book, and give that a go in the time frame and see how I get on. I've got a few fabric choices. I found this navy blue crepe, but I'm just wondering after Fiona's experience whether it's a good idea to use this. I don't know, it would probably be okay, but it's got quite a lot of bounce on it. It's not stretch per se, and there's a elastane in it, but it's stretched within the fabric because of the texture of it. It's quite a crinkle effect. And then that's from Lucky Fashions, and then I've got this. Now this would probably be a nicer shirt than it would be trousers. Well, it'd probably be nice trousers as well. But I just think that if I made palazzo trousers in this, I would only wear them on holiday, and it'd be a shame really just to only wear them on holiday. I'm not so sure whether I get much wear out of that. And then another Lucky Fashions. I went to Lucky Fashions just before lockdown and bought this beautiful stuff. I think these were only about £5 a metre, and I've got 2 metres of it. Now again, if I were to make palazzo pants out of that, it'd be fantastic for holidays, but I really don't think I'd wear that on a regular basis. I'd just feel too self-conscious as trousers. It would make a really nice shirt dress, a nice calais, and it would make a really nice just shirt, holiday shirt. In fact, if I were making myself a holiday shirt, that it would be perfect. And this is another one. I sound like a Lucky Fashions promotions, but it's just where I've been shopping the week before. So that's really not, that's better. Now this is quite a thin, take my face out of it. So quite a thin cotton, and it'd probably make a nice holiday shirt, like it with like a gypsy style shirt. That's kind of what I was looking for when I bought it. It's quite nice that, but certainly not. I wouldn't make trousers out of that. So I'm gonna have to I'm probably gonna have to make it out of that crepe. I think that's about all I've got to make it from. So last week my little challenge to myself was to make the Simplicity 177 rather, which was the, I'll put a proper picture in for you rather than trying to hold the pattern up. So it was the tea dress, and I said that I'd try and make it, see how far I would get it to making it in the 5 hours that the contestants had. And I will also put a picture in of how far I got, which was essentially I had put the bodice, I'd made the bodice and attached the skirt, but not inserted the zip. I'd made up the sleeves but not inserted the sleeves or the zip or the facing or done any of the hem, so I didn't get very far at all really. And I'm just going to stand up now and show you the very close up of the front bodice. So this part here, when I first inserted it, I wasn't happy at all. It came out 3 times. It was just too much bagginess, and it just wasn't even. So that's when I stopped timing. I did my 5 hours, and then I thought, no, I really need to sort this out. I'm not going to rush it, because I wouldn't wear it if it wasn't right. I wouldn't wear it. So I unpicked it and reinserted it, and somebody left a message on my blog post to say that there are pleats in this dress and gathers to get it into this middle bodice into the sides, and you don't really need both. You could probably just do it with the gathers, and I think if I'd have seen that before, I probably wouldn't have had so much hassle with it. But other than that, I really do like it. I've made it in it's part silk and part acetate. It's mostly acetate than it is silk, that I got from Fabworks, and it's a really nice fabric actually. I thought it would be it'd be tricky to work with, and it wasn't really. I thought it might be a little bit too lightweight for a dress. I thought it was more of a blouse weight, but it's £6 a metre, and it's been. I wore it all day yesterday, and I thought it looked like a dish rag by the time I finished wearing it yesterday, but it's not. So it's got some really nice little details on it. I'll just see if you can hold up. Can you see? We've got 3 darts there on each sleeve, and got a dart in the shoulder seam there. I'm not sure if you can see that. And then the details at the front, these gathers into the skirt here and up here, and like this is what I'm talking about here. It just seems a bit, I didn't know whether to top stitch this or not, but I think I've just left it. I think it makes it a bit more comfortable. It just, if when you look at the line drawing, that's more fitted towards your rib cage, but I would have thought that would be too tight really if it was to be worn like that. And it is quite a comfortable dress. The only thing I would say is we've got this is a bit tight up here. There is a v-neck version, but I thought this was keeping in with the vintage style of it. So I'm quite pleased with it. So instead of 5 hours, it probably took me 10 hours, I would have said, because I hand stitched the hem. I'd prefer to hand stitch my hems if I can, and hand stitch all the hems on the sleeve as well. That's all hand stitched. and on the facing that goes on the inside here, that's all finished off properly as well. I didn't just overlock it, I turned it and stitched it down. So yeah, there was a lot more work in it than not that I anticipated. I was prepared to do it, but I'd rather finish it off properly and get some wear out of it than rush it and never be happy with it. So I'm quite pleased with it. I'm just looking forward now to being able to go to some sort of 1940s event where I can wear it. Although it's perfectly wearable. It's not overly vintage, so it's perfectly wearable at any other time. So that's it for the Sewing Bee review. I've just got a little giveaway to give at the end. As I mentioned, I've managed to I've bought some fabric from Lucky Fashions. She doesn't have an online store, but she is on Instagram under Lucky Fashions Dewsbury, and she is trying to, because she's no online presence, and I'm more than happy to promote her, because she's, locked down. Local businesses like hers are, they're really struggling. So I've got 2 meters of the fabric that Ali used in her shirt, and again I will insert a picture of that so you can have a look. And I've got 2 meters of that to give away to someone. So all you'll need to do is like and subscribe to this video, and just put a comment in below as to what you would make with it. If you want to make a man's tropical shirt, that's fine, or whatever you fancy making with it. If you just give a little comment below and just say what you fancy making with it, and I'll do the draw before. No, I'll do the draw in my next video. So I will close comments on next Wednesday. And I'll do the draw before my next video. So that's the what day are we on? 13th, May the 13th. So yeah, I'll do that for you. And I'm going to keep it. I'm going to make it international. Hopefully that won't come back to bite me and cost me a fortune to send out, but you live and learn, don't you? Okay, so that's it for me from now. Like I say, don't forget to like and subscribe and leave a comment below, and that's it. Thank you very much.